Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed to, yes, a Monday afternoon edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast. And join me right now here on the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Talk all things Buccaneers and the NFL is my great friend Luke Easterling with Athlon Sports. Luke, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. I got to tell you, every time you bring me on the show and that intro starts playing, I'm a drummer, so like I try really hard not to just like headbang and like totally like get around. Like I'm gonna walk right out into the other room there, jump on my kit, and just go to town, man. Every time I hear it, it's a good intro. It's good stuff.
I like you're legit by calling it a kit as well. You don't mess around. You're no amateur.
I still play, man. I still play. It's good stuff. I miss it. I miss the band life. I miss playing shows and stuff. But I get to serenade my neighbors every now and then when I jump on there. So it's fine. They all seem to. Nobody's complained yet, so I'm happy about that.
And you have the lightning hat on to like disguise your band hair that you have, right? We all know it's super long.
I got a bunch of.
I see that.
It's all on YouTube, baby. You can go see me smashing the kit back in the day. It was a good time. Good time.
Oh, we will. I like you're deflecting from the current 3-game losing streak of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they lose a crazy shootout yesterday in Buffalo, 44-32. What happened in this football game, buddy?
You know, it's in all three of these games, I can speak about that. Like, it's not the fact that they lost because I kind of expected them to lose all of those games. It's the way they keep doing it that proves that they could have won all of them. Like, there's just moments and decisions and mistakes that are not initiated by the other team that if they clean those things up and do things differently, they could have won all of those games. And Sunday was another example because I mean, they had some great moments on defense. They got some pressure at certain times. They had a couple early turnovers that they just couldn't turn around and maximize. And you just, when you have those opportunities against Josh Allen, you can say what you want about the way they played against the Dolphins. I don't care. He's, everybody has a bad day. Josh Allen's still Josh Allen. He's still one of the greatest football players on the planet. So it was always going to come back. He was always going to be that guy. But he didn't have to score 6 touchdowns on you if you're playing disciplined football, which the Bucs just – they fell apart in the second half, really the last 3 quarters. And when you look at very specific decisions, when you've been shredded all day and you punt the ball on 4th and 2, like barely like near midfield with 7 minutes left in the game and willingly give the ball back to Josh Allen in a 1-score game, like you get what you deserve, in my opinion, if you're Todd Bowles. And I've defended Todd Bowles a lot. Couldn't defend him yesterday. That defense fell apart and was awful. They didn't have an answer for so many. And they were allowing – this is a Bills offense that had Josh Allen and just about nothing else. I mean, James Cook had the 1 touchdown catch, but they really eliminated the ground game. Keon Coleman, their first-round pick from a couple years ago, or like top of the second-round pick, was a healthy scratch for this game. Dalton Kincaid was hurt, so his top tight end is out of the game. Khalil Shakir played, but he was iffy, like game-time decision because he was hurt. Josh Allen had very little to work with, and you still let him go out there and score thrice by land and thrice by air. It was just so infuriating. And then like the play calling on offense, the Bucs rushed for over 200 yards in this game, but refused to run the ball on either of their 2-point conversions where they got stopped, and refused to run the ball on 3rd and 2 right before that 4th and 2 that they punted. So if you run it, maybe it's 4th and 1, maybe it's 4th and inches, maybe you get the first down. Like, it's just Josh Grizzard has looked like a first-year play caller a lot this season. He's had some great moments, but yesterday was another one of those games where you can see the inexperience. The Bucs just had so many opportunities to win this game, and I don't want to speak. I mean, Baker had a really bad interception on a bad throw. I know the elements were kind of involved in some of that, but it was just a wasted opportunity. It was an opportunity for this team to prove that they're one of the best teams in the league. And they failed. They didn't live up to it for the second, third week in a row. And the hope is that you can just figure it out down the stretch with an easy schedule and figure out how to be a good team when you face these teams again in the playoffs, with the hope that you get healthier. They still don't have Bucky Irving. They still don't have Mike Evans back. They still don't have Chris Godwin, Elijah Cansey. A lot of these guys are still hurt. So you're hoping you get healthy, but it's a frustrating missed opportunity because they had a chance to win this game multiple times.
We're at Luke Easterling-Athlon Sports talking Buccaneers football here on a Monday. All right, this team was 6-1. Now they're 6-4. Somehow The Panthers will not go away. They're a half game out. Dude, Bryce Young threw for what? 448 yards, 3 touchdowns. I know it's the Atlanta defense. They're half game out. Here's your schedule for the Buccaneers, for everyone watching right now. At the Rams, Sunday Night Football. And there's a case there. The Rams might be the best team in the NFC. Then Cardinals at home, Saints at home. Falcons, Thursday Night Football at home. At Panthers, at Dolphins, Panthers at home. 7 to go. You talked about this a couple weeks ago. Do you like this schedule down the stretch with a half-game lead on Carolina?
I like it because there's a lot of, in theory, winnable games, and you control your own destiny. Even if they lose to the Rams Sunday night, which I kind of expect them to do at this point, you're 6-5, and Carolina, I think they've got San Francisco on Monday night, so that's not going to be an easy one for them. But say even Carolina wins that game and you flip and they go into first place in the NFC South, you still got to handle your business with them either way. You've still got to play them twice down the stretch. So you're going to handle that when you face them on the field. Again, you've got Miami, you've got Arizona, you've got New Orleans again, you've got Atlanta again. So you've got everything ahead of you. If you handle those division games and beat a couple of bad teams that you should beat, the Bucs will be fine again, even if they lose this week and go to 6-5. Those Panthers games, I think, are going to decide it. They really are. I mean, the Panthers are dangerous right now because they're figuring it out on offense. The defense is young, but they're flying around. They've got some playmakers. Those 2 Panthers games are really the division games altogether, obviously, but assuming that the Falcons, who are really banged up right now, looks like Penix is going to miss the rest of the year probably with that knee injury. Drake London's got an injury. He might be out for a little while. So the Falcons are banged up. Hopefully you can take, although I don't know, there's a lot of Bucs fans out there that aren't thrilled with the fact that now they're going to have to face Kirk Cousins, who threw for like 900 yards and 8 touchdowns and no interceptions against the Bucs last year in a couple of games. He was the only team that he could play well against at all last year, evidently. But the positive is that you still control everything. Everything is still in front of you. Again, even if they lose Sunday night, these last 2 losses, I mean, you lose to New England, you lose to Buffalo. Yeah, it sucks, but they're AFC opponents. It's not really going to factor into the tiebreakers or anything. So obviously it'd be huge if they could get a win Sunday night against the Rams, but you're going to just have to handle your division business, man. You're going to have to handle it down the stretch. And again, we've talked about this before. Last 2 years, Bucs started 4-6, 4-7, still finished very strong, won the division, went to the playoffs both times. Now, again, even if they start 6-5, they're kind of ahead of the game if you compare that to what they've started the last few years. So everything's in front of them. They're just going to have to go out and prove that they're still the best team in the league because the Panthers look pretty damn good right now.
You're absolutely right. Here's my thing, and I want your thoughts on this. Hey, they scored 32 points yesterday. They were in the New England game. They're in all these football games. It's not like they're laying down, they're dying like they're maybe the Arizona Cardinals or Cleveland Browns. They're in these. So if you look at this Rams matchup, what do you think of the Rams and how they played and how they match up with your Buccaneers?
I think, honestly, the first thing they need to do is they need to watch the tape from this past week and learn what to do and what not to do, because the Seattle Seahawks gave you a perfect blueprint. On defense, they gave you a perfect blueprint of how to slow that offense down, because the Rams didn't really get a ton going on offense for most of the game. And I think if they had a couple touchdown drives, they were like short fields right after turnovers, because Sam Darnold threw 4 picks yesterday. Yeah. So that's the answer to me is you've got to take, I mean, I know it's common sense. Obviously, Sam Darnold didn't go out trying to throw 4 interceptions, but you've got to have a handle on your offensive game plan and their defensive game plan enough to not put yourself in that situation. Baker's going to have to take care of the football. He's going to have to be smart. They're going to have to run the ball like they just ran the ball against the Bills, which will be a lot harder because that defensive front for the Rams is a lot tougher than that. But listen, I don't know if Bucky Irving's going to be back this week. It feels like we're still not quite there yet from the way Todd Bowles is talking about it, but we'll find out obviously this week in practice. Getting Luke Gedeke back, I think, was huge this week. That was a huge help for them at right tackle. But, long term, the hope is, like I said, that by the time you're able to finish the season and hopefully win this division, go to the playoffs, Kalijah Kancey has a chance to come back. Mike Evans has a chance to come back. Maybe you've got Godwin and Bucky both back. You're going to hopefully get healthier. I know Jamel Dean left the game yesterday with a hip injury. You don't know how long he's going to be out, but you're hopeful that you're finally going to get the healthiest version of this Bucs team on the field right at the last minute when it matters most and you make the playoffs. But you got to get there first. Obviously, a win Sunday night would be huge for that. But it's going to come down to those division games. Hopefully they can score one this weekend because, again, if they can look at what the Seahawks did and replicate that, that would be great. But I'll have to believe it. I'll have to see it to believe it against the Rams because they haven't been great against them.
Okay, so the Bucs right now in the 4th seed. I want your thoughts. Okay, who's the better team right now in your eyes? Is it the Eagles or is it the Rams for that 1-2 seed?
Oh, it's the Rams easily because they're way more balanced right now. I think Philly's defense is playing out of its mind, but that offense is awful. Like, it is boring. It is gross to watch. I don't know if I've ever seen an offense with more star power going unused than Philly has right now. They got Hurts, they got Saquon, they got A.J. Brown, which A.J. Brown's complaining about everything. He's right. He is right about everything that's going wrong with that offense. So before everybody gets out here and starts complaining about just another diva receiver, it's T.O. all over again, it's not. A.J. Brown is right about this offense. It's stagnant. It's boring. It's not challenging opposing defenses from a schematic standpoint at all. There's no plan to get guys open with scheme. You're just saying, hey, go line up and be better than everybody. And honestly, Bucs fans know exactly what that looks like because that happened to Tom Brady's last season before he retired again. It was the scheme was no longer working because the Bucs had all those injuries on the offensive line. Ali Marpet retired. You had Ryan Jensen went down, and so they couldn't just sit back and let Brady stand in the pocket for 10 seconds like they could the first 2 years. And they didn't adjust the scheme at all to account for that, and the results were predictable. That's what's happening with Philly right now. They're just saying, hey, go out there and just out-talent everybody, and it's not working. Their route concepts are boring. They're not blocking well enough to spring Saquon for all of those big runs that we saw last year. I think the Rams, again, the Seahawks did a hell of a job against them defensively yesterday, but Matthew Stafford's playing at an MVP level. They've got balance on offense with Puka Nacua in the passing game, Devontae Adams, especially in the red zone. Kyron Williams is a touchdown machine for them still. And that defense is nasty, man. Like I said, they took the ball away a bunch yesterday against the Seahawks. That defensive front with Jared Verse leading the way is just they're one of the more complete teams in the league right now. I think they're the best team in the NFC right now.
If you are Detroit after getting shut down on national TV in Philadelphia, is it time to hit the panic button if you're the Lions now?
I don't know if it's time to hit the panic button. I think they ran into a really, really good defense, maybe the best one in the league, and they honestly they traditionally don't play well on grass. They're another dome team that really looks a step slower on grass and in the elements, and you can see that last night. I think that slowed them down a bit. But they're also just trying to figure out who they're trying to be on offense. Dan Campbell took over the play calling a couple weeks ago, so there's some changes there in terms of what they're trying to do in the approach. You don't make a change like that unless you're trying to shake some things up. So there's going to be an adjustment period. I think dome teams are always going to be better at home, especially teams that are predicated on speed like they are and explosiveness on the offensive side of the ball. And they've got to stay, injuries have continued to bite them on defense too. So they've got to try to stay healthy. You can't really control that, but I don't think it's panic time because they're still good at what they're good at. But if you get them late in the season on the road in the cold weather on grass and in hostile territory, they're always going to be a lesser version of themselves because that's just how history tells it.
Okay, you know what my next question is going to be? I'm gonna start it with this. Now you're laughing. We are going to beat the Steelers on Sunday at home. I don't know if it's Mason Rudolph or if it's Ben Roethlisberger or if it's broken Aaron Rodgers. The Bears are winning that game. They're going to go to 8-3 at the season, which is mind-boggling. Then they play Black Friday at Philadelphia on Amazon, and Amazon's opening it up so everyone can watch the game for free. Then I don't know what happens. We could get blown out in that game, or we compared to Detroit, like our offense is clicking right now. Number 2 running attack. I don't know what to think. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, it's you don't know what to do with your hands, right? This is what you don't know what this is like. You have a franchise quarterback, you have a winning record in mid-November. I don't know either. I don't know what to tell you, man. The only thing I'll tell you is soak it up, enjoy it, because like multiple Bears players have said this week. I think it was Roma Dunze that I saw say it, which is like, you don't apologize for winning in this league. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter if it was ugly or pretty. It is hard to win football games in the NFL. So if you're 7-3, especially in a division that, if we go back to the preseason, we were talking about how tough this division was going to be. It doesn't look quite as tough, but that's probably because everybody keeps beating each other, which we kind of talked about. That was a possibility. You can talk about close games and all, like, oh, they barely did this, they barely did that. People did that about the Bucs early in the season. You either win or you lose, man. And at the end of the day, bad teams find a way to lose close games. Good teams find a way to win them. The Bears keep finding a way to win these games. I think that means they're a good football team. And again, they're really just getting started. This is year 1 under Ben Johnson. It's year 2 with guys like Williams and Odunze. Still a lot of young talent on that team. I know there's some improvements they need to make on defense. Injuries have really hit them hard at every level, really, in that unit. They've lost guys, but I think they're just getting started in Chicago, man. I don't want to speak too soon for your sake, but
I know
you should soak this up and look ahead to a bright future, my man, because things are looking up in Chicago.
Okay, the play of the game. It's not even winning the field goal in the first half. I know. Look, you were completely on Buccaneers Bills. I don't blame you. So
I switched over to red zone on commercial break, but I use the quad box, right? So I've got the Bucs in the one box, and then when the Bucs come back on, I go to that one. When the Bucs go to commercial, I back out, and I can see like red zone in the other 2 games. So I try to keep on, but I didn't see everything.
So there was a play in the first half. So first down, Caleb Williams, he's going to give it to the running back. And I've seen this 50 times before. It gets fumbled. The ball goes backwards. The only guy to run after the ball backwards was Rome Odunze. He falls on it. It's 2nd and 25. You're like, well, this drive's dead.
I did see this play.
Caleb in the pocket, 24-yard strike over the middle to Rome Odunze. Sets it up. They pick it up on 3rd down. That's when I start to believe. I know it's a Disney movie. I'm happy you saw this play. That's the difference. To have a quarterback for the first time ever. It's wild. It is.
Again, soak it up, man. Enjoy it.
I know. All right, let's end with this then. The hell with the AFC. I've had it. I'm sick of the AFC. All right. Coach of the year right now. Okay, you'd think it's Mike Vrabel, and maybe it will be with the Patriots. And then you could go with Ben Johnson of the Bears. You know what? That former offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers, what he's doing with the Carolina Panthers, and especially, I think Bryce Young was dead, where people buried him. He is a bust. I can't even keep up with so many offensive coordinators who are now coaches in the NFL. Could I give a vote to that guy to be coach of the year in the NFL?
It's funny when Dave Canales left to take that job after 1 season as the Bucs offensive coordinator. I was more worried as a Bucs fan to lose him to the Panthers as a head coach than I was to lose him as their offensive coordinator, because he made some improvements. But if you talk to the players, they were still kind of concerned that some of the concepts weren't modernized enough. Like, it wasn't necessarily the offense that was what he was best at. And again, I only got to be around Dave for a year, but it took about 5 minutes being around that guy to realize, oh, he's a head coach. Like, he's not just a Mike McDaniel or even like a Sean, but like, it's not just like he's this like offensive wizard of a play caller who's like super creative and innovative, and like that's what he brings it. Like, Dave Canales is a leader of human beings. Like, he is a top of the food chain CEO type. And I don't mean that in like a detached way. Like, he's just such a fantastic leader who connects with his players so well. And go back to talk to people who worked for him and played for him in Seattle for all those years under Pete Carroll. He went from a low-level assistant seemingly to like position coach to OC to head coach very, very quickly. But all those years he spent developing the skills to connect with players, to relate to players, to speak in a way that they can tell that I'm not trying to BS you, I'm being authentic. Like, those are the things that really stood out to me in that year that Dave Canales was the offensive coordinator in Tampa. It was less about the X's and O's and more about the players understanding that this is a guy who's for real. He's an authentic leader. He's going to be able to rally people and really implement a culture. All those like buzzwords that we say and nobody really knows what they mean. Dave Canales is creating that in Carolina. And that's what I was worried about as a Bucs fan, because I could see it. I was worried that he was going to go there and actually build something sustainable. I think that's what he's doing. And I think that's why you see the Panthers playing so well. So I agree with you. I think what he's done is as impressive as anything any coach has done in the NFL this year. And unfortunately for Bucs fans, I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon.
Oh, and remember last year he benched Bryce Young and put in, I think, Andy Dalton for a while. Yep. and then went back to Bryce Young. And, dude, he got replaced by Liam Cohen, I believe. Now Liam Cohen's with the Jaguars. Look, they could make the playoffs, and he might save Trevor Lawrence's career. Wild. They had, by the way, Chargers had 8 first downs yesterday. 8 first downs with Jim
whooped
Harbaugh.
them. That was a whooping. Yeah.
And they should have beaten the Texans. The Jaguars should be 7-3. All right.
They should.
His name is Luke Easterling. I like he has it on his shirt. I wish all guests would do this. Athlon Sports. My man, thanks for your help. Good luck to your Buccaneers against the Rams on Sunday Night Football. All right.
Hey, I appreciate it. Bear down, buddy.